Good afternoon, class. Thank you. You can sit down. All right, then today is our last lesson on factorizing. We will be looking at the combination of the different types of factorizing methods that we looked at in our previous lessons. Okay, but before we do that, we have to correct an exercise on what we did last lesson based on factorizing of quadratic trinomials. There are 5 questions we didn't do. Letters E, F, G, H, and letter I. All right, then we'll start from the front. Letter E, Taumaku, your answer, please.
D plus 4.
D minus 1 times
5D plus 4.
5D plus 4, correct? All right, Kyle, letter F.
5r minus 2 times r minus 2.
R minus 2, okay. Letter G, Kila.
11s plus 2 multiplied by s minus 1.
11s plus 2 times s minus 1. H, Lester.
8g minus 3 times g minus 1.
All right, 8g minus 3 times g minus 1. Livingston, letter I.
3u minus 4u times u minus 2.
3u minus 4 times u minus 2. Okay, any questions? Those answers look correct. Any questions on the answers, please? No? Okay, I just want, before we do the next exercise, I want us to go over the types of factorizing that we've looked at so far. All right, the first one, Patrick. You have to stand.
Factorizing difference of two squares.
All right, factorizing differences of 2 squares. Number 2, Miriam.
The highest common factor.
All right, taking the highest common factor out. Number 3, Dan.
Grouping.
Grouping. Number 4, Chutaili.
Quadratic trinomials or expressions.
Okay, factorizing. Quadratic trinomials. Okay. For quadratic trinomials, we looked at 2 types. Number 1, Hekoi.
Where a is equal to 1.
Where a is equal to 1. And Velma, what do I mean by a? What do we mean by a?
Coefficient
Of
x squared.
the coefficient of x squared, or the coefficient of the first term. All right, it doesn't necessarily have to be x squared. Okay, what about the second one?
A is greater than 1.
Where a is
Wait.
greater than 1. Okay, good. I should have also said here a can also be less than 1 because we can have negative numbers as well instead of just positive numbers. So where a is greater than 1 or where a is less than 1. Solomon, can a ever be 0?
No.
No. Okay, because if it is 0, the whole thing changes. It's no longer a quadratic trinomial. Okay, then I'm going to put you into groups. And you are going to do 4 questions each based on all the types of factorizing that we've looked at. Now, if you are given a question in a test, listening, or an assignment, you will not be told what method you are going to use. You will just be told factorize. You have to decide by looking at the expression what method you are going to use. And you have to be able to recognize the expression as well. You have to know what a difference of 2 squares looks like before you use it. All right, you have to know when to use the highest common factor. All right, you have to know when to use grouping. Okay, and also you have to know by looking at the expression whether it is a quadratic, and if it is, whether you are going to use factorizing, the method that you learned on factorizing quadratic trinomials. All right, so I'm not going to tell you. You are going to do that by doing this exercise. Okay, group 1 is Patrick, Livingston, Lester, Kila, and the 5 girls behind them. Sorry, the 4 girls behind them. So it's easy for you to share. That's group 1. Group 2, Kyle, Tama, Kuvui, Solomon, and Velma. Group 3, Ponrele, Agnes, Raylene, Garonamo, Megan, Jake, Natasha, and Boromeo. That's group 3. And the 2 boys at the back can join those groups. That group. Group 4, Gabriel, Peter, Andrew, George, Esther, Rita, Daniel, Gabriel, Geno, and Margaret. Okay. Group 1 does the exercise where it says for group 1. Okay, on this piece of paper, and so is group 2. There's groups are written on this. You have to turn around and share with the same as you. One person do the writing, everyone contribute to the answers. Pass it to the other side. Okay, because I've got only one piece of paper for the group, one person does the writing, everyone has to contribute to the answer. I am going to give you 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'm going to get you to, or maybe we'll make it 15 so we can answer some questions today. Remember, you are contributing to the answer, so everyone has to do some talking. Okay, that's group 1. That's yours. You are group number 2. You got V there, which is common. How come it's still in the bracket? Oh, yours is group 3. Yeah. Your group is 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's it. That's for group 2. What?
You don't take only one person to go up and say all the answers.
If you want. Because 4 people might take a long time. But then that person has to be willing to explain. Yeah. That means you have to tell that person how they are going to explain the questions or the answers they are going to put up. I think it's better for one person to do it. Unless you want 2 people, one to do 2 and another to do 2. You people finished? You'll have to decide how you want the questions to be answered. The person or persons who are going to go up will have to explain. If you're choosing one person, that person will have to go and explain all the answers. If you're choosing 2, maybe it's better to have 1 or 2 instead of 4 different people. That will take up some time. Yeah. He's copying down all the questions so that he can try them. not how you write that. That's x minus y times x minus y times x minus y 4 times. That one is x to the power of 4 minus y to the power of 4. It's an int. What does it look like? That x to the power of 4 and y to the power of 4 minus y to the power of 4. Okay. What's the square root of x to the power of 4? What number do you square? What term do you square to give you x to the power of 4? Square root. Not 2, x squared. Yeah. Okay, then. Okay, then you have to continue factorizing this one. And then that x squared minus y squared is another difference of 2 squares again. Oh. Yeah, except that because x squared minus y squared is also a difference of 2 squares. So you have to factorize this bit. This one, leave it like that. Okay, you'll have to decide how you are going to 1% the answers. Whether one person will do it or 2 people. I think 4 will take up too much time. So it's either 1 or 2. But that, if it's 1%, that 1% will have to go and explain all the questions. If it's 2, then 2 each. So you'll have to contribute to what that person or those 2 are going to say. Patrick, don't get nervous for nothing. Then a minus b. You take out a minus b because that's a common factor. That's a minus b and a minus b there. And then you are left with a minus b minus 2x. You'll have to group the first 3 terms and the last 2. This one is the difference of 2 squares again. So you have to factorize this one, leave that one as it is. And then times that x squared plus y squared. It's okay. There. That's it. Maybe one boy and one girl, something like that. Okay, that one too is a difference of 2 squares again. So you can continue factorize that bit. That one remains the same. How are you going to finish? 3x. Okay, that's correct. You're not finished yet. You're not finished yet because that's 4x squared and that's minus y squared. That's a difference of 2 squares. Did I give you a quadratic? Yes, I did. And I gave one grouping. Yep. The trick gets really scared. You have to learn. Okay, then, yeah, okay, take out p minus 2, because that's common now. And then what will you have left? Okay, if I take that out, because that's the common factor, you're now going to have plus 2a in another set of brackets. That's it. Yeah. Okay, you don't need to put that inside because that 6x minus 6y is a common factor of 6, so that's correct up to there. 3 times 2x minus y times 2x plus 4. Yep. We're going to start with group 1. Please explain the type of expression you are factorizing and how you are going to factorize it, please. Okay, group 1. Mic. Listening, please.
The expression up here is here you find the highest common factor. The highest common factor for these two terms is 2ab. You put it outside the bracket of c minus 3d. That's the answer. The second one is quadratic trinomial expression. First of all, you multiply the first term with the last term. I got 36. And then I found two numbers which I will multiply to give positive 36 and add to give me negative 12. After that, you rewrite the whole expression again. 9x squared minus 6x plus 4. Then you find the highest common factors for 9x minus 6x and minus 6x plus 4. Here it's 3x outside the brackets of 3x minus 2. And for this, it's minus 2 outside the brackets of 3x minus 2. And eventually, I came up with 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2, which is the same as 3x minus 2 squared.
Good. Well done. Next one. Who's going, boys? One is easy. 5x minus 6y.
Let us see. I used the difference of two squares method to factorize this question. In this method, you find the square roots of the expression and then you add the two, yeah, and then you subtract it. So the square root of 25 is 5, square root of x is x, plus square root of 36 is 6, square root of y squared is y. And then you write it as 5x minus 6y in another. 5x plus 6y multiplied by 5x minus 6y cannot be further factorized, so it remains. For question D, found the difference of these two squares here, and then I found the common factor of 3a plus 3b, which is 3a plus b in brackets.
Yeah.
So and then the common factors in here, a plus b, which is a plus b, and you're left with a minus b plus 3 in another brackets. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Group 1. Well done. They've got their 4 questions correct. Group 2, your turn. easy. 5x minus 6y. Okay, we go ahead.
The first method we used for the A is differences of two squares. And when we factorize the equation, we got x minus 1 plus 2y in one bracket times x minus 1 minus 2y. And when you multiply the two terms, you still come up with the same answer, so it's the differences of two squares. And B is the highest common factor, the method we use, and the highest common factor we found was 1/3 pi r squared outside the bracket of 2r plus h. That's the answer we got.
Okay, up here we can see that where you 7x minus 20, you multiply 6 by 20, you got 120, and you have to find a factor of 120 that when added will give negative 7x, which I got negative 15, and positive 8. So after finding that, you have to rewrite the expression to include these two terms as well. So it becomes 6x squared minus 15x plus
8x.
supposed to be
Okay.
6x squared minus 15x plus 8x minus 20. Then we use grouping to factorize. So we find the highest common factor for 6x squared and 15x, which is 3x. So 3x multiplied by 2x minus 5 in a bracket, plus the highest common factor for 8x and 20 is 4. So 4 outside the bracket of 2x minus 5. So as you can see, these two terms are the same, so they are 1. So we put together what's outside the brackets. So that's 3x plus 4 in one bracket multiplied by 2x minus 5 in the other bracket.
Who's doing latest? Somebody else is doing still.
The method used for factorization in this question is grouping. Grouping highest common factor. So we find the highest common factor of 2x cubed minus 50xy squared, which is 2x times x squared minus 25y squared in bracket.
Okay, thank you, group 2. If you look at letter C, 2x cubed minus 50xy squared, you take out 2x, you get x squared minus 25y squared. Note this one can still be factorized. It is a difference of two squares, x squared, 25y squared. So you get 2x times square root of this is x, square root of this is 5y, so x plus 5y times x minus 5y. Okay, this is not wrong, it's just that it's not factorized completely. Okay, that's for group 2, letter C. All right, because we have to stop here, group 3 and group 4, you will do yours next lesson. That means we expect you to do better. You have to explain properly. You have more time to think about the questions. And then we'll start on algebraic expressions. All right, the key word to the pilot teacher is combination. All right, stand up. Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon. Thank you.